Malik was a kind boy. He was 11 years old and lived in a small town where everyone knew each other. Malik's family was not very rich, but they had enough to live happily. Every morning before school, Malik's mother would prepare his lunch, carefully. She made sure he had enough food to eat during the day, but she also packed an extra sandwich. "Take this with you," she would say, "just in case you meet someone who needs it." Malik didn't think much about it. He was used to helping others because his parents taught him that kindness was one of the most important things in life. Malik was a good student and loved going to school. He had many friends, and he always tried to be helpful to everyone. Sometimes, he noticed some kids in his class did not bring enough food, or they looked sad and hungry. But most of the time, Malik just shared his extra sandwich quietly. He never made a big deal about it. He just wanted to help in his own small way. One chilly autumn morning, Malik arrived at school like usual. The air was fresh, and the leaves on the trees were changing colors, red, yellow, and orange. He walked into the classroom and saw a new student sitting alone at the back of the room. The boy looked small for his age, and his clothes were worn out. His name was Ethan, and he had just moved to the town a few days ago. No one had spoken to him yet, and he seemed shy and scared. Malik remembered the extra sandwich in his backpack. His stomach was not very hungry that day, so he thought maybe he could share it. During lunch break, Malik went over to Ethan's table. The other kids were busy talking and laughing, but Ethan was quietly eating a small piece of bread. Malik sat down beside him and smiled. "Hey, do you want this?" Malik asked, holding out his sandwich. Ethan looked surprised. He slowly nodded and took the sandwich with trembling hands. Malik watched as Ethan took a bite. His eyes brightened a little, and he smiled shyly. "Thank you," Ethan whispered. Malik smiled back. He was happy he could help. The two boys talked, a little more during lunch. Malik asked Ethan about his old school and if he liked sports. Ethan's answers were quiet, but honest. Malik realized that Ethan was lonely. He had no friends yet, and the other kids were ignoring him. From that day on, Malik made it a habit to sit with Ethan during lunch. He always brought the extra sandwich, for him. Sometimes Malik shared his chips or cookies too. They started talking more, and slowly Ethan began to open up. He told Malik about his old home, how his family had to move because his father lost his job. It was hard for Ethan to say, but Malik listened without judging. He only wanted to be a friend. Malik's kindness did not go unnoticed. Some kids in class started watching them. Some whispered and laughed, but Malik did not care. He knew it was right to help someone who needed it. He was proud to be kind, even if it meant standing out. Ethan's health was not very good. Malik noticed that Ethan often looked tired and pale. Sometimes Ethan would hold his stomach as if he was in pain. Malik asked if he was okay, but Ethan only said he was fine. Malik knew that sometimes people don't want to talk about their problems, especially when they are new or scared. One day, Malik's teacher noticed Ethan eating the sandwich Malik had given him. She smiled and said, "That's very kind of you, Malik." The teacher spoke to the class about helping others and being good friends. After that, a few other kids started bringing extra food too. Malik's small act of kindness was starting to change the classroom. Malik never expected anything in return. He just wanted Ethan to feel welcome and safe. He remembered what his mother said. Sometimes the smallest things we do can make the biggest difference. And that was true. For Ethan, that sandwich was more than just food. It was a sign that someone cared. Malik and Ethan's friendship grew. They played together during recess, helped each other with homework, and laughed a lot. Malik realized that kindness could break down walls and bring people closer. He felt happy knowing that he had made a new friend. At the end of the day, Malik walked home thinking about how a simple sandwich had started something special. He didn't know what the future held, but he was sure that being kind was always the right choice. After that first day when Malik shared his extra sandwich with Ethan, something changed between the two boys. Malik kept bringing the extra sandwich every day to school, always saving it for Ethan. It wasn't a big deal for Malik. He never thought of it as something special. For him, sharing food was just a small way to show kindness. But for Ethan, it meant a lot more than that. Every lunch break, Malik would find Ethan sitting quietly, often alone, looking tired or hungry. Malik would sit down beside him and say, "Here, I brought you some food." Ethan's face would light up a little and he would accept it with a shy smile. Over time, they started talking more during lunch. Malik asked Ethan about his favorite games and what he liked to do after school. Ethan didn't speak much, but Malik could tell he enjoyed the company. For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt less alone. Malik noticed that Ethan's clothes were worn and sometimes dirty. His shoes were old and torn. Other kids in the class didn't pay attention to him, and sometimes they teased him quietly. But Malik never cared about what the others thought. To him, Ethan was just a friend who needed help, and that was enough. One day, Malik asked Ethan if he wanted to play basketball during recess. Ethan looked hesitant but nodded. Malik showed him how to dribble and shoot. At first, Ethan was clumsy and slow, but Malik was patient. They practiced together, laughing when the ball bounced off the rim or went the wrong way. Slowly, Ethan began to get better. Other kids started to notice them playing together and stopped teasing Ethan. For Ethan, this was a big change. He was starting to feel included. Malik's kindness didn't stop at lunch or recess. Sometimes when Malik finished his homework early, he would help Ethan with his schoolwork. Ethan had trouble reading and writing because he had missed a lot of school before moving to this town. Malik's mother always said, "Helping others helps yourself too." Malik believed in that. He didn't want Ethan to feel left behind or different. Ethan's family was going through a hard time. Malik didn't know many details because Ethan didn't talk about it much, but sometimes Ethan's mother would come to pick him up from school looking tired and worried. Malik noticed that Ethan didn't have many toys or new clothes. It made Malik feel sad, but he didn't say anything. He wanted to be a good friend and not make Ethan feel uncomfortable. One afternoon during a rainy day, Malik saw Ethan sitting alone under a tree during recess. Ethan looked cold and hungry. Malik ran to the school cafeteria and brought him a warm cup of soup. Ethan smiled and thanked him softly. Malik felt warm inside. He realized that being kind was more than sharing food. It was about being there when someone needed help the most. Malik's teacher noticed how Malik was helping Ethan. She called Malik to her desk one day and said, "You have a big heart, Malik. It's wonderful to see you being such a good friend." Malik felt proud but also a little shy. He didn't want special praise. He just wanted to keep helping Ethan. Other students started to see what Malik was doing. Some of them began to bring extra snacks and share with Ethan and others who needed food. The classroom slowly changed. Kids who were once quiet or ignored started to smile and join in. Malik's small act of kindness was growing into something bigger. Malik and Ethan's friendship became stronger. They talked about their dreams and hopes. Malik told Ethan he wanted to be a doctor one day, so he could help people. Ethan said he wanted to be a teacher, so he could help other kids learn. They laughed together, joked, and made plans for the future. For Ethan, having a friend like Malik was a new beginning. Even though Ethan was still shy and quiet, Malik knew he was happier. The food helped him physically, but Malik's friendship helped him emotionally. It gave Ethan hope. Every day, Malik reminded him that he was not alone. One afternoon, Malik's mother came to the school to watch the kids during lunch. She saw Malik sitting with Ethan and the other children sharing their food. She smiled and told Malik later, "You're making a difference. Sometimes kindness is the best medicine." Malik nodded. He didn't think he was doing anything special, but he was happy to help. Malik learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes a simple act of kindness can change a person's life. It was not about money or gifts, but about caring and sharing. For Ethan, the extra sandwich was more than food. It was a sign that someone believed in him, cared for him, and wanted him to be safe and happy. The school days went by. Malik and Ethan's friendship grew, and so did the kindness in the classroom. Malik knew that no matter what happened, he would always share what he had. It was the right thing to do. The days passed quietly at the small school where Malik and Ethan studied. Every morning Malik would arrive early, carrying his backpack, which always included the extra sandwich for Ethan. Their friendship had become well known in their classroom. Many students had started to notice the bond between the two boys, but most of them didn't know the whole story behind it. One morning, just as the sun was rising and the school buses were pulling up, something unusual happened. A shiny black car drove slowly into the school parking lot. It was not a usual sight. Most parents came in older cars or walked their children to school, but this car was different. It looked important and professional. The driver carefully parked the car near the school gate, and out of the vehicle stepped a man wearing a white coat. He carried a briefcase in one hand and looked serious but kind. The students on the playground stopped their games and stared. Some whispered to each other, "Who was this man? Why was he here so early?" The principal quickly came out of the school building and greeted the man warmly. Right behind the man was a woman, who looked tired but hopeful. She had a gentle smile as she held the hand of a small boy, Ethan. Malik was just getting off the bus when he noticed the visitors. His heart beat faster with curiosity. He had never seen a doctor come to their school like this before. The principal motioned for Ethan and his family to come inside the school building. Malik watched quietly, wondering what was going on. Later, that morning, Malik was surprised to receive a message from the principal's office. They asked him to come in for a meeting. Malik felt nervous and excited. Why would they want to see him? Was it about Ethan? When Malik walked into the principal's office, he saw Ethan sitting with his mother and the doctor from the morning. The room was calm but serious. Malik's stomach tightened. The doctor smiled gently and said, "Malik, thank you for coming. We want to talk about Ethan and how you have been helping him." Malik looked down shyly but nodded. He had no idea what they would say next. The doctor explained, "Ethan has been very sick for some time. His family has been facing many difficulties, and he has not been eating properly. This has made him weak and affected his health badly. When you started sharing your lunch with him, we saw that his condition began to improve. Your kindness gave him strength." Malik was surprised. He never thought about the food this way. To him, it was just a sandwich. But the doctor continued, "Because of your help, Ethan's body started to heal. This gave us the chance to provide him with proper medical care." Ethan's mother smiled through her tears. "We didn't know what to do. We were afraid. But, thanks to Malik, our son had hope. His health is better now." Malik felt proud but also emotional. He had never imagined that his small act of kindness could have such a big impact. The doctor said, "You saved his life, Malik. That sandwich wasn't just food. It was medicine." The conversation in the principal's office was a turning point. Malik realized that sometimes the smallest things can be the most powerful. He looked at Ethan and saw his friend's face full of gratitude. Ethan smiled weakly and whispered, "Thank you." After the meeting, Malik was allowed to visit Ethan in the nurse's office, where Ethan was resting. The nurse told Malik that Ethan needed to stay under observation for a few days to make sure he was okay. Malik promised to visit him every day. Word of what happened quickly spread around the school. Teachers and students were amazed at how Malik's kindness had helped Ethan in such a big way. Some students who had ignored Ethan before began to understand that he needed support, not judgment. Malik's family was also proud of him. When Malik came home that day and told them everything, his mother hugged him tightly. "I always knew "You had a big heart, Malik," she said softly. Malik didn't want attention or praise. He just wanted Ethan to get better and be happy. But now, he understood that kindness could change lives in ways no one expected. From that day on, Malik became even more determined to help others. He realized that sometimes people need more than just friendship. They need someone to stand by them when things are tough. Malik promised himself that he would always be that person. The school began to look different to Malik. He noticed other kids bringing extra food and sharing it quietly. The teachers encouraged kindness and understanding. The school community was becoming a place where everyone could feel safe and cared for. Ethan's health slowly improved with medical treatment. He was still shy and quiet but looked stronger every day. Malik kept visiting him and sharing stories to make him laugh. Their friendship grew deeper, built not just on sandwiches, but on trust and hope. Malik's simple act of kindness had started a ripple that reached far beyond the classroom. It was a reminder to everyone that even small actions, like sharing a sandwich, could save a life and bring people together. After the visit from the doctor and the meeting in the principal's office, things started to change for Ethan and Malik in many important ways. Malik had no idea just how much his simple act of sharing a sandwich had helped Ethan until that day. Now, Ethan was getting the medical care he needed, and the school community was beginning to understand the true meaning of kindness. Ethan had to stay at home for a few days to recover under the watchful eye of his mother and the doctors. Malik visited him every day, bringing books, toys, and stories to keep Ethan's spirits up. Sometimes Ethan would smile weakly when Malik arrived, and sometimes he would just listen quietly. Malik knew that even small things like friendship and care were powerful medicines for his friend's heart. At school, the atmosphere was slowly shifting. The teachers talked about Ethan's situation with more understanding. They reminded the students about the importance of empathy and looking out for one another. Some students who used to ignore or tease Ethan began to change. They saw how Malik treated Ethan with respect and kindness, and it made them think differently. Malik didn't just stop at sharing his lunch anymore. He started helping Ethan with his homework. Ethan struggled with reading and writing because he had missed so much school before. Malik was patient and kind, explaining things slowly and cheering Ethan on when he got something right. This gave Ethan new confidence and helped him catch up. One day, Malik invited Ethan to join him during recess to play basketball. At first, Ethan was shy and unsure, but Malik encouraged him gently. He taught Ethan how to hold the ball, how to pass, and how to shoot. They laughed when Ethan missed, and celebrated every small success. Slowly, Ethan began to feel stronger, not just in his body, but in his mind and spirit. The other children started to notice the friendship between Malik and Ethan. Some of them wanted to join in the games, and soon a group of kids was playing together. For Ethan, this was a huge step. He went from being a lonely boy sitting by himself to being part of a team, feeling accepted and valued. Malik's kindness also reached beyond Ethan. Other children in the school who faced hard times started to receive small acts of kindness from classmates and teachers. Malik's example encouraged others to share what they had and to care for one another. At home, Malik's parents were proud of their son. They saw how he was growing into a caring and responsible young boy. They talked to him about how important it was to continue being kind, and they supported his efforts to help others. Ethan's mother was grateful for Malik's friendship. She told Malik's mother one day, "You don't know how much this means to us." Malik's kindness gave Ethan hope when we were feeling so lost. Malik's mother smiled and said, "Sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest impact." With the help of the school nurse and the doctor, Ethan's health improved steadily. He started coming back to school more often and participated in class. He smiled more and seemed happier. Malik felt proud seeing his friend grow stronger each day. One afternoon during a school assembly, the principal spoke about kindness and community. He told the students, We have all seen how Malik's kindness has helped Ethan. Let's remember that every one of us can make a difference. A small act of caring can change a life. The students clapped and cheered, and Malik felt a warm feeling inside. He realized that kindness was not just about big actions, but about everyday choices to be good to others. Inspired by Malik's story, the school started a new program to help children in need. They created a lunch-sharing initiative, where students could bring extra food to share with classmates who didn't have enough to eat. Teachers and staff made sure the program was organized and kind, so no child would feel embarrassed or left out. Malik was happy to help organize the program. He felt proud knowing that what began as sharing one sandwich had now grown into a way to help many children. Ethan's story and Malik's kindness also reached the town. Local community members began to support the school's efforts by donating food, clothes, and school supplies. The town was coming together, showing that kindness could spread beyond a classroom and make a real difference. Malik and Ethan continued to grow their friendship. They studied together, played basketball, and shared dreams about the future. They talked about what they wanted to be when they grew up. Malik wanted to become a doctor to help others, and Ethan dreamed of being a teacher to help children learn. Their friendship became a shining example of how kindness and support could help people overcome difficult times. Malik learned that helping others was not just about giving things, but about being there with care and understanding. As time passed, Malik's small act of sharing lunch had started something big, a community of kindness, friendship, and hope. It was a reminder that sometimes the simplest things like sharing a sandwich or a smile could change lives forever. After everything that had happened with Malik and Ethan, life began to change in many small but meaningful ways. The story of Malik sharing his lunch with Ethan and how it helped Ethan's health and happiness became well known in their school, and even in their town. What started as a simple kind act between two boys grew into something much bigger than anyone had expected. Malik never thought of himself as a hero. He just did what felt right. Every day he shared his lunch with Ethan, because he knew his friend needed help. But now people were starting to notice. The teachers talked about Malik's kindness during class. The principal mentioned it during school meetings. Even some parents heard about it from their children and from the local news. One morning, Malik's teacher told the class, "Today we have a very special visitor." The classroom door opened, and in walked a man wearing a white coat, carrying a big bag. He introduced himself as Dr. Adams, a doctor who worked in the town's hospital. He had heard about Malik's kindness and wanted to meet the boys who had made such a difference. Dr. Adams spoke to the students about how important it is to care for one another. He explained that sometimes the smallest things can save lives, like sharing food, giving a smile, or offering friendship. The children listened carefully. Malik felt proud, but also a little shy as the doctor praised him for his caring heart. The local newspaper wrote a story about Malik and Ethan. The article showed pictures of the boys smiling and playing basketball together. It said, "A young boy's kindness helped save his classmate's life." The story spread quickly, and people from all over the town began to talk about how important kindness is. Because of this attention, many people started helping Ethan's family. Neighbors brought food, clothes, and toys. Local stores gave school supplies. Even some strangers sent money to support them. Ethan's family was very grateful and felt hope for the first time in a long while. Malik's own family was proud of him too. His mother told him, "You have a beautiful heart, Malik. You've taught us all a lesson about caring and love." Malik smiled and said, "I just wanted to help my friend." The school decided to do more to help children who were hungry or struggling. They started a lunch-sharing program where students could bring extra food to share with anyone who needed it. Teachers helped organize it so that no child would feel left out or hungry during the day. Malik was happy to be part of this program. He saw other students sharing their lunches and snacks, and the classroom became friendlier and kinder. Kids who once sat alone started to join groups. Laughter and smiles filled the halls. Malik felt proud that his small act of kindness had started something bigger. Ethan's health continued to improve. He was stronger and more confident. He even joined the school basketball team and started making new friends. Malik cheered him on from the sidelines. Their friendship grew deeper, built on trust, respect, and care. Malik thought often about how a simple sandwich had changed everything. It wasn't just food. It was a symbol of hope and friendship. He learned that kindness could heal wounds that medicine sometimes couldn't reach. It gave people courage to keep going, even when life was hard. Malik's family helped organize community events to raise awareness about hunger and kindness. They invited doctors, teachers, and neighbors to talk about how small acts could make a big difference. The whole town began to feel more connected and caring. Malik dreamed of becoming a doctor one day. He wanted to help children like Ethan and teach others about kindness. He studied hard, inspired by the hope and friendship he helped create. His dream was not just about medicine, but about caring for people's hearts. Years passed, and Malik grew up to become a kind and respected doctor. He never forgot the lessons he learned as a boy, the power of sharing, caring, and friendship. Malik worked to help children in need and taught them that even small actions could change lives. The town where Malik and Ethan lived changed too. People became more aware of each other's struggles. They helped when they could and looked out for one another. The lunch sharing program continued, feeding many children and building a community of kindness and hope. Malik's story reminded everyone that no matter how small we are, we all have the power to make a difference. One kind act, like sharing a sandwich, can change a life and inspire many more. Malik and Ethan's friendship stayed strong through the years. They always remembered how their lives had changed because one boy cared enough to share. Their story became a symbol of hope, kindness, and the incredible power of simple, caring hearts. And so, Malik's small sandwich became a light in the lives of many, teaching the world that kindness is one of the most powerful things we can give.